Hello, this is Betty Bray with 4th Generation Software, makers of Fitrix ERP. This product video explains how to use a Fitrix landed cost functionality. This feature gives you the ability to receive merchandise at landed cost, which will be the sum of the item's cost, freight charges, broker fees, and any other cost associated with the merchandise. This will ensure that the profitability of the item is accurately reflected to include its total landed cost when sold. The first step in using the landed cost feature is to set up your cost categories. These cost categories are then used to enter estimated cost when the vendor purchase order is entered. I have 3 cost categories. Let's take a look at duty. Category is a 30-character field where the name of the cost category is entered. The variance account is used to enter the GL account number that any variances between estimated and actual cost will post to, and I'll show this a little bit later in this video. Allocation method. You enter the value here to determine how additional merchandise costs such as freight should be allocated to the product when you receive the purchase order so that the item's cost is a true landed cost. Valid values are cost. Cost will be allocated based on the item's cost as it relates to the receipt as a whole. Weight. Cost will be allocated based on the item's weight. If this method is used, it is imperative that you have assigned a weight to the item when it was set up using the Update Inventory Information program. If a purchase order can have multiple items on it with different units of measure such as pound or ounce, then this method should not be used as there is no mechanism in place to calculate a common unit of measure to be used for all items when apportioning the cost. Volume. Volume. Cost will be allocated based on the item's volume. If this method is used, it is imperative that you have assigned a volume to the item when it is set up using the Update Inventory Information program. Quantity. Cost will be allocated based on the item's quantity as it relates to the receipt as a whole. Manual. Cost will be manually allocated by the user. Let's take a look at a PO that has landed cost added to it. When this PO was entered, $100 for duty was added to it. Now let's see what happens when we receive the product. Because this PO has additional costs added to it, I will receive this prompt. Let's say it turns out that my duty is really going to be $200. I want you to notice how the unit cost for both items change when I click OK. The beauty of this is that now when I sell these items, their costs will be all-inclusive and my reported profit on their sale will be accurate. Next, we'll run the edit and post. And now the posting program. These programs increase your on-hand and make an entry into your GL to debit inventory and credit AP holding. Now let's talk about variances. Let's say that now you find out the duty is really $150. It's too late to adjust the cost on the items, as some, if not all of them, may have been sold when you find this out. Here's how the variance works. First, we need to process the vendor PO, and it could be that you get one invoice from one vendor for merchandise and another vendor, like your broker, sends you the invoice for the duty. Champion is only invoicing me for merchandise, so I'm going to zero out duty. Next, let's process the invoice for duty and reduce the duty to $150. Now we'll post both invoices to AP and create our GL activity. The post will create the open AP invoices for both vendors to be paid later and debit AP holding and credit AP. Now we still have that variance of $50 to contend with, and since the PO has been received in its entirety, we're ready to process it. Here's the history of what's taken place so far. We started with an estimated cost of $100. When we received the merchandise, we changed it to $200. We received the vendor invoice, and it turns out it was only for $150, so we have a $50 variance. Since we're ready to process, I change OK to post to Y. Next, I want to run the edit. When I run the edit and post, I will clear the remaining $15 from the AP holding account and credit my variance cost of goods account for the cost category duty. This concludes the landed cost presentation. If you have any questions whatsoever, please feel free to give us a call at the toll-free number listed on our website or email us at info@fitrix.com. Thank you for your time.